I made a horseshoe out of horseshoes. I hope it's not still too hot to be on here. Ugh, it's going to be really heavy anyway. Whatever. If it starts on fire, we'll deal with it. Anyway, I know I said I was going to wait till it got cooler out before I started making a lot of the metalworking stuff, but I just couldn't help myself. And so I decided, I had this idea. It just popped into my head after we did the letters and the boot rack. I was like, maybe we should do something a little bit more artsy, I guess. I don't know. This is the first of hopefully many little sculptures or big sculptures or whatever. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be, but I like it a lot. And you saw I was, I think that was about 2-3 hour periods in that opening shot about of me just putting it all together. Provided all the footage is there, but the camera, the phone shut off on me a couple of times during the recording, so I think I got most of it in there, and it was sped up to all heck, so I don't know if everything's a blur or not, but this thing is put together. Now I had a problem after I first set it up on the table. I brought the level out, and it was just straight tilted to one side pretty good. And I'm like, well, I could leave it because I didn't expect perfection to begin with. And then I was just thinking, how do I fix it? How do I fix it? And then like straight up this way too, it was leaning this backwards a bit. This is the front side towards you guys. So it was leaning in two different directions. And it just like it kept catching my eye as I was staring at it and trying to figure out what was next for it. And so I couldn't do anything else until I fixed it. And so all I did was I took a really big shoe, if you can see here on the bottom. I took a really big shoe, the biggest shoe I had in here. Still pretty warm. And then I tacked it onto the bottom, but I put a couple of metal strips from the ends of old farrier rasps. I hate saying that word. It just makes me sound like I have a lisp, which I think I do a little bit. Anyway, so I took the end of one of these, and I cut it into a couple little pieces and put it on the one side of that bottom shoe. On the big shoe, I just welded them into place. It looks like I can still do a little bit more. I might go through and touch up some of the more iffy welds on this thing as I'm going, because some of them are pretty gnarly. And it's really hard for me to brush them to really see how bad they are. And so as I can get in there and brush them out one at a time here and there, right? I'm seeing more and more welds that are either not going to go well, they're going to crack. But almost every shoe on here has at least 3 welds in contact with it. And so I think that's going to give it the biggest stability. Every shoe is welded in 3 different areas, at least. Some of them are 4. This bottom one is now like 8 because I have 2 different shoes attached to it. But and then I was doing some stress tests originally, and I grabbed it and I was squeezing it. And there's a little bit of clinking and tinking, a little bit of wiggle in it. Like I tried to break it at the first time. I just pulled on it as hard as I could. And I tried to break it. It's not going. So I'm just worried about like a really windy day or something like this. If this gets blown over, it hits pavement, something like that. I don't want it to break, but I don't know if anybody's going to want this thing. I want it, but I have nowhere to put it. So anyway, so what this is, which we haven't talked about yet, is just like a lawn ornament or a porch ornament, just a horseshoe sculpture of sorts. Apparently, these can get pretty popular, these things. And it's one of the first things that I thought that I would want to do when I first started wanting to mess with Courtney's old horseshoes. This was before we had the shop, and when I first started hanging out with Courtney while she was working, before I left my job, we went to Spruce Meadows once, and we were walking around all the markets and all that kind of stuff, and this one shop area was huge, and it just had a whole bunch of horseshoe sculptures in it. And I thought it was really, really cool. And most of it is horses. Like they had like full-sized horseshoes, and they're really nice and really awesome. And I'm like, I'd love to learn how to do that. And that's when Courtney's like, I have a million horseshoes. And so this is me starting to practice doing that. The boot rack started to see if I could even remotely get 2 shoes together. Remember up there we have our first 2 shoes we ever welded together, which was fun. Now I didn't clean these shoes anywhere near as much as I would normally have cleaned shoes for a project, and I think it's part of how I'm going to leave it. I'm going to put it up on the Facebook page and for sale, to sell it off and whatnot. But if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. I don't care. What I care about is the fact that I did it, and hopefully it gets some good comments. That's all I care about. But if somebody actually wants it, I might offer to clean it properly and get some paint on it if that's what they want, or if they want the rustic old shoe look. They want because some people like the rusted look of metal. Like if you see around here, we go to a lot of like farm and barn areas. They have things like this at their gates. Some of them are a lot bigger, but they just let them rust, and then the rust look is what they like. So anyway, that's enough of that. This is it. It's got a little bit of a wobble still to it, so there still is a chance that we put something flatter on the bottom just to give it some stability. But as it stands right now, I'm okay with it. And so what my thought process here is to make it a welcome sign. Something you'd put on your porch or at the entrance of your farm or gate or acreage or anything like that. And so I just want to do it quickly and easy. And so I think the best way to do that would be just grab a little board. And I have one almost the perfect size. And we're going to just suspend it in the air here. And from there, we're gonna sand this guy down really quick. We're gonna get some stain on it, and then we're gonna figure out a best way to suspend this in here. I have these little wooden letters. If you remember, I've used them a couple of times for some things. I pulled out all of the letters for the welcome, and that's they're painted black now, just drying over in the side there. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on getting this piece of wood stained, and then those letters glued on, and then we're going to suspend it here, probably with this chain. I have this black chain. I have silver and brass black chain as well, so I can use any of it. I just oh, come on. There we go. So I was thinking about maybe from the top here, or maybe even from the sides a little bit, and just have the chain hold the board up, kind of like this, on either side, so then it can like sway in the wind and that kind of stuff. I think that would be just fine. So we're going to see how well that goes. So without further ado, let's get that started. I'm really happy with this, by the way. I mean, it seems like I'm just critiquing the crap out of it, but I think it's awesome. My welds are not that pretty. Obviously, I'm only going to get better. And I feel like I got good and then bad and then good and then bad. So I think it just depends on the angle. You probably see in the video, if it wasn't going too fast, just like how awkward I got. And I want to find a better way to clean up shoes, because I did heat up every one of these shoes and brush them and straighten them first. Because some of them were pretty wonky and pretty warped. You can see like on the inside here, this one's turned pretty rusty or like red already. And so I might brush that. But if I brush one shoe too much, it's going to start getting shiny, and that's something I want to avoid. So I might try to get the little rust off of this without making it shiny, but that means just hand brushing it carefully. A couple of other things quickly before we go is that I don't know if it showed up in the video, but I had a couple of issues with my dimensions, and because every shoe in here is not exactly the same size, obviously. I tried to use ones for the center in the middle on both the outside and the inside, and then we used size 2 shoes. And then like some hind shoes. I tried to use a mixture of different types of shoes, and so that gave me some gaps. So you can see here, this shoe and this shoe aren't attached together at all. They are still welded with 3 points of contact, like so they're attached all on this side, the front side, but this is the back side, and it's a little wavy. Goes a little wavy through. Again, here we have no contact here, and so there's a couple of little no contact points, which I did that just specifically because we needed it to round. And if I would have tried to connect the heels to the toes everywhere, it would have just kept going straight, and it wouldn't have worked. So I think in the future, if I do something like this again, I think I just want to plan it out a little bit better. And I think I would do, if you guys saw the way that I started it, is I just did the 90-degree angle of this shoe and the bottom shoe first. And then I went from there, and like I slowly raised these up, right? And then I started attaching the sides. I think what I would do first is lay it down like this. It's pretty flat. On the back, if I lay it on the other side, it wobbles, but this way is pretty flat. I would lay it down like this and then just do this first. Weld them all together while they're flat laying down, and then start attaching the outside shoes first, all the way around. And then I would come back with the probably the inside shoes, and then finally we'll do the back again like we did last. So yeah, either way, I learned a lot doing this, and if some of these no contact points give me a headache here and there, I might just put a bead of weld in between them. I realized I could do that a couple of times throughout this process, and it didn't look too terrible when I did it. So, but again, I'm not going to try to make this look pristine and perfect. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to be just rugged and done. So, yes. So now that that's pretty much, still got some wobble to it, but I did what I could to get that done. So we're gonna see what we can do about getting this guy sanded up here. And I'm not gonna worry about cleaning off the edges and making it crisp and good. I'm just gonna sand it and then get some stain on it really quick. Okay, so that's been done. Again, I was just quickly doing it. It's not going to be the best sign I've ever made. It's not going to even be the second best sign I've ever made. So I think the stain we're going to use is going to be the American walnut. You need a brush. So this board's got a crack in it and all that stuff. So we're just gonna stain it. We're gonna let that dry. Then we're gonna glue the letters on, and then we're gonna put a finish on it, and then we'll figure out how to hang it. So need something to put underneath it. Don't need a lot. This should be fine. I used these to get the green on the pumpkin stem. Some holes in there, so the stain might go through, but either way. We'll get these done here. The ends here are more porous than everywhere else. So you gotta like jam it in there. It's gonna be harder when it's up on the triangles, so I'm trying to jam it in there as much as possible now while we wait for the other stuff to start drying. All right, just give it a little bit of a wipe. Oh yeah, it's looking okay. To the edges really quick, just to say I did it. All right. Well, that's the back, so we can put it on these. All right. Looks like this is going to come out pretty okay. There's some splotchy stuff, but that's because of the knots and stuff in the board. But it's looking okay. So I'm going to take it over. We're going to let it dry, probably overnight. And then when we come back, we'll get the letters glued on, hopefully straight this time, because I'm really bad at that. But with such a small board, I could probably just clamp the ruler to it and do it that way, which is probably what I'm going to do. But just hope I don't glue the ruler to the board, and then we'll figure out how to hang it and see what it looks like. Welcome back. Oh, I cracked myself up. Anyway, we have the welcome sign all glued up and done, and I hope it will stick the way I wanted it to. Some fluff stuck to it, but I just super glued the letters and then put a couple top coats on it because I assumed that it would be outside, and we're going to try to secure it into the shoe now, the horseshoe now. So we're going to have to bring that up here. Beautiful. So we're gonna have to measure it out here on where we want it to be. I also spray painted. I ran out of black hooks when I made the memorial frame. I used a bunch of them. So I wire brushed a couple of these small guys and then painted them black. So we have those for the top of the board here, which we'll probably screw in first actually. So let's get some measurements going and figure this out, but where we want it to be. So it's about 14 inches. So if we bring them in at the 10 and the 4, maybe the 3 and the 11 actually. So 3 inches in on either side. Hopefully I can do this without the paint coming off of the hooks, because I'm not really sure how well it's going to stay on there. They're just silver underneath too, so it's not a big deal. I know I should pre-drill this, but the threads on this is so small that I'd have to grab the smallest drill bit in the world. I'm not going to do that. Again, this is just to show that I can hang a sign here. If somebody wants it to be different, say something different, that's fine too. So I'll have that poked in there. And then we'll grab the 3-inch measurement. Wonderful. Just get that in there. Yeah, some of the paint is, I coated it twice too, so just in case, but I feel like no matter how much I paint it, it's still going to probably come off because it was glossy. Like the wire brushing of it didn't scuff it up enough. Anyway, so now what we want to do is, I think I figured out that I want it from the second shoe hole in here. So we're going to widen this a little bit. I don't know how necessarily I'm going to fix it into the top here, but I don't think it has to be like crazy secure. So we'll do that. And then we will play around with these. I think it needs to be higher than that. Let's go to this one. The second one will be easier to do because I could just copy the same amount of links. I mean, that's about right. So we do this now. Ta-da. Put that on there. And we go to that one, it looks like. And then we hope that that just works. If it's not straight, then I'll have to add a link or so. It's not exactly straight, but I can just take that one top link out. That was easy. Comparative to other things that we've done, it's pretty easy. Now, I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to permanently secure it. Like I might just leave it like this, so then whoever has it can change it how they want, but it's just really easy to, it's not that easy. This one's kind of easy to come out. There we go. Welcome. Let's just stop that from swinging. And I don't know if it being able to swing so freely is a good thing or a bad thing. I did think about chaining the bottom too as well, but I think that's just overthinking it. But yeah, that's the guy. That's the thing. Now, I don't know if it's going to want to be painted or coated in any way, brushed up in any way. I like it as is. I like it like some of the horseshoes being a little dirty and a little rust here and there. I like that look. Some people are really going to like it just if they just let it rust entirely. But yeah, it's there. It's what we'd like it to be, I think. I really enjoyed making this thing, even though it was really, really hot. I even had the forge on today because I got an order for pumpkins, so I had to make some more pumpkins. So I whipped these guys up today, and I have to paint one of them still. So one of them, the small one's not going to get painted. The big one's going to get painted. I made this big one out of hind shoes, and I actually kind of really like that there. And this small one I made out of regular shoes, just smaller regular shoes. I think I used zeros, right? Yeah. So that's zeros. These are size 3 hind shoes, so they're really big and heavy. They don't look as big as other size 3 shoes because the hind shoes are narrower, but I really liked the look it gave me. That's why that one's going to get painted, because they just ordered one unpainted and one painted in 2 different sizes. That's all that they wanted. So that's what they're going to get. I'm not going to put a lot of effort into making all the welds look pretty and stuff. I did a lot of research on people that make sculptures and different and arts and things with horseshoes, and nobody seems to care about what your weld looks like. I'm gonna care. I want to get better at it. I think just bubbly tack welds is not where I want my welding technique to end. So as we keep going, they're hopefully going to just get better and better. As you can see, I did the welcome. It's way better than most of my other lettering that I've done in the past. It's straight. The spacing is okay. It's not great. But, I mean, if you stare at it long enough, you'll find the problems. But people just look at it, it says welcome, that's it. I like this. I like this thing a lot. I haven't figured out what the next project is yet. I say I'm a lot now. I haven't figured out what the next project is yet, so this is where we're going to end this one, because it's Wednesday, but I don't have Thursday or Friday this week. There's extra work to be done around here, and Courtney has the busiest week of the year. Basically, what's happening is this is pretty much the last shoeing cycle before the winter, the summer shows and in the horse community, the summer shows stop, because 6 weeks from now is when, so we're shoeing everything we shoe right now is for the next, the last 6 to 8 weeks, and all of the next shows are in that 6 to 8 weeks. So we shouldn't have to reshoe a bunch of these guys. A lot of people take the shoes off of their horses for the winter because they don't need them because they're not doing the big shows. So the winter is easier to do. She still has to do the same amount of horses, but she doesn't have to put shoes on a lot of them. We still go to the same places, do the same amount of horses, that kind of stuff, but it's faster. It's easier, but it's also less money. But it is part of the thing. You make a lot of money in the summer and less in the winter, and you just got to learn how to figure that out. But I'm hoping in the winter that I can do more of this. I don't think I'm going to stop right now, but I have a feeling if I do anything bigger than these, I'm going to run out of shoes fast. Because this guy is 65 shoes. Thereabouts. I counted and it was about 65. This is 65 shoes it took to build this thing. And so if I build anything larger than this, it's going to be even more so on the running out of shoes side of things. I'm not in danger of running out of shoes now. I still probably have a couple hundred, if not, over there in the corner. And we're going to keep getting more, especially in the winter, like just before we take all the shoes off. Or when we start taking all the shoes off for the winter, all those shoes will come into the shop. But if this comes into me wanting to do bigger and better and sculptures, and maybe I do one a week kind of thing, it's gonna I'm gonna run out of shoes. So we're gonna have to ask Courtney's farrier friends if they're willing to sell me the shoes or give me the shoes, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of friends, and if they're all like Courtney, who just has a freaking room and or a pallet full of shoes, then I can just pick them up. So that's where I'm thinking. This is the test for the first horse sculpture. I know I said that the pumpkins were pretty much a test for horse sculptures, but that's very niche, like winter or autumn and fall and Halloween only kind of thing. I have some ideas for Christmas trees and snowmen and stuff like that. Making a sphere out of horseshoes is posing to be kind of a mind mess up for me. I've looked up videos on how people do it, and none of them seem like the way I want to do it. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do that going forward, because I'd like to do a sphere here soon, just so I can practice building one. Because you have to kind of build it in halves and then put it together. So if it doesn't match up properly, then it's going to be a problem. So either way, thanks for joining me. Thanks for being part of this week, and we'll come back with hopefully another welding project. I don't know if we have another woodworking project coming up anytime soon, but the more of this I can do, where I add like a woodworking piece into whatever I'm doing, the happier I'll be. I don't know how many I'd be able to do, but just little dangly hanging signs, I think it's great. And so if we get the opportunity to do any more of this, I have like this weird like fear. Sorry, I just said we're going to go, but I have this weird fear that when I post this thing for sale, two things can happen. Well, there's three things that can happen. One of the things that can happen is that nobody pays attention to it at all, and then it just sits around for a while. Won't bother me. It will just stick around. I'll just put it over by the house or in front of the where we keep our trucks and stuff. There's a door there that can have a welcome sign. The barn can have a welcome sign. There's not, like, I can leave it on property. That's fine. The second thing is that somebody picks it up. That's good. I'm not fearful of that. Somebody's just like, yeah, I'll buy that. The third thing is that I get multiple requests for these, because I don't know how well I can build another one of these again. Like this one kind of got jacked up when I did the back side of it, right? And I don't know if that's going to be a problem for people, but whatever, that's their problem. Don't buy it. But I have, like, I talked about how I'd probably do it different going forward. But what if somebody wants a big one? What if, like, this is pretty much the smallest I can make it. Unless I don't go three-dimensional, I go two-dimensional. I could probably make a small one. But yeah, this is probably close to the smallest I can make it, unless I get really small shoes again, but I'd have to purchase those. But what if somebody wants a big one? Then I'm going to have to like double it up. So instead of just having one row here, it'd be 2 rows and then an inside row and then 2 rows on the outside, and we'd have to expand it and make it bigger. I don't know. I'm just scared of that. I think it'd be fun if somebody asked, but it's kind of scary. Anyway, we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.